Respected viewers, dear family of dreamers, what if I told you that the difference between a life of quiet struggle and a life of lasting wealth is not luck, not talent, but a single decision, repeated patiently over time? What if the very thing you're chasing today, quick money, fast profits, instant success, is the same thing silently keeping you away from becoming truly rich? And what if the path that feels slow, uncertain, even boring, is actually the one that leads to freedom, dignity, and a life where money finally stops controlling your choices? Pause for a moment and ask yourself honestly, are you trying to win the race, or are you trying to build a life that never needs to race again? Beloved listeners, in the world of crypto, this question has become louder than ever. Short-term trading or long-term holding, quick wins or patient wealth. I have seen people enter this space with shining eyes, full of hope, dreaming of changing their destiny overnight. And I have also seen those same eyes, months later, filled with confusion, regret, and silent disappointment. Because the truth, the quiet truth that very few people talk about, is this: money is not just numbers. It is emotion. It is behavior. It is discipline. It is who you become when no one is watching. There was a young man once, not very different from many of you listening right now. He came from a background where money was always tight, where every decision carried weight, where even small losses felt like storms. When he first discovered crypto, it felt like hope had finally arrived. Charts moving up and down, stories of people doubling their money in days, turning hundreds into thousands, thousands into millions, he told himself. This is my chance. I will not miss it. So he began trading, every day, every hour, watching prices, chasing green candles, fearing red ones. At first, he made some money, small wins, quick profits, and with every win, his confidence grew, but quietly. Something else was growing too: impatience. He no longer wanted steady growth. He wanted faster results, bigger trades, higher risks, and then, as it always does, the market changed. A sudden drop, unexpected, sharp, merciless, he told himself. It will go back up. But it didn't. He held, then panicked, then sold, and in a matter of days, the profits he celebrated turned into losses he couldn't understand. He wasn't alone. Thousands were doing the same thing, chasing short-term gains, reacting emotionally, confusing movement with progress, because no one told them that short-term money often comes with long-term pain. Dear listeners, this is where the illusion begins. Short-term crypto. It feels exciting, alive, like you're in control, like you're doing something. But in reality, most people are not building wealth. They are gambling with emotions. They are not investing. They are reacting, and reactions rarely build fortunes. Now let me tell you another story, so quieter, slower, less glamorous. There was another individual, same starting point, same financial struggles, same desire to change life. But instead of chasing every move, he chose something different. He chose patience. He studied not just coins, but cycles, not just prices, but behavior, not just trends, but time. He understood something simple, yet powerful. Wealth is not created in moments. It is created in years. So instead of asking, how much can I make today? He asked, what can this become in 5 years? He invested in strong projects, not because they were trending, but because they had purpose, utility, and long-term potential. And then he waited, not days, not weeks, but months, years. At times, the market dropped deeply, Painfully, he saw his portfolio go down 20%, 40%, even more. And yes, he felt fear. He felt doubt. He questioned himself, but he didn't react because he had already made the most important decision, not about crypto, but about himself. He chose discipline over emotion. He chose vision over noise. He chose time over speed, and slowly, something remarkable began to happen. Not overnight, not dramatically, but quietly, steadily. The market recovered, then grew, then expanded beyond what most people expected, and the same assets that once tested his patience began rewarding it. This is the difference, dear family. Short-term thinking asks, how fast can I win? Long-term thinking asks, how strong can I become? One builds excitement, the other builds wealth. In 2026, this question becomes even more important because the world is changing, money is evolving, technology is advancing, but human nature remains the same. People will still chase quick gains. People will still panic and fear. People will still abandon patience for speed. And that is why only a few will truly become wealthy. Not because they are smarter, not because they have more money, but because they understand one simple truth. Time is the greatest multiplier of wealth. You see, compounding is not just about numbers. It is about behavior repeated consistently. It is about showing up, even when results are invisible. It is about holding on, when everything inside you wants to let go. It is about believing, not in the market, but in your process. Most people underestimate how much they can achieve in the long run because they are too busy overestimating what they can do in the short term. They want results now. They want proof now. They want success now. But life does not work that way. The seed does not become a tree overnight. The river does not carve mountains in a day. And wealth does not grow in a moment of excitement. It grows in silence, in patience, in discipline. And yes, short-term crypto can make money. There will always be traders who succeed, who understand timing, who control their emotions, who treat it like a profession. But for most people, it becomes a cycle. Win, lose, chase, repeat, and slowly, without realizing, they lose not just money, but confidence, clarity, and peace, because they were never taught how to think long-term. They were only shown how to react short-term. Dear listeners, if your goal is not just money, but freedom, stability, and a life where you are no longer controlled by financial stress, then you must look beyond quick gains. You must ask yourself, am I building something that lasts, or am I chasing something that fades? Because at the end of the day, it is not about how fast you make money. It is about how long you can keep it and how peacefully you can live with the decisions that created it. Because wealth, true wealth, is not just the ability to earn. It is the ability to endure. It is the quiet strength to stay when others are running. It is the calm mind that does not shake when markets tremble. It is the discipline to do nothing when doing nothing is the smartest move. Dear family, there comes a moment in every investor's journey when the noise becomes unbearable. Charts flashing, news screaming, people celebrating overnight gains, others crying over sudden losses. And in that chaos, your mind begins to whisper, maybe I should act. Maybe I'm missing out on, maybe I'm too slow. This is the test, not of intelligence, but of character. Because anyone can act when emotions are high, but very few can remain still when everything inside them is urging movement. You see, short-term success feeds the ego. It gives you a rush, a temporary sense of control. It makes you feel ahead, powerful, faster than others. But long-term success It shapes the soul. It humbles you. It teaches you patience. It builds a quiet confidence that does not need validation. And in 2026, this difference will separate the crowd from the few who rise above it, because as markets grow, opportunities will multiply. But so will distractions, new coins, new trends, new promises of quick wealth, and once again, people will run toward speed. But those who understand will walk toward time. There is a kind of silence that only disciplined investors understand. A silence where nothing seems to be happening. No excitement, no quick gains, no constant action. Just waiting, holding, trusting. And to an outsider, it looks like nothing. But inside that silence, something powerful is forming. Clarity. Because when you stop reacting, you start observing. When you stop chasing, you start understanding. You begin to see patterns. Not just in markets, but in behavior. You notice how fear creates opportunity, how greed creates risk, how patience creates advantage. And slowly, your relationship with money begins to change. It is no longer about urgency. It is no longer about proving something. It becomes about alignment. Are your actions aligned with your future, or are they driven by your present emotions? Most people, if they are honest, are not investing. They are escaping their current reality, their financial stress, their fear of being left behind. And in that escape, they rush. They want results that match their urgency. They want success that removes their discomfort. But the market does not reward urgency. It rewards understanding, and understanding takes time. There will be days, dear listeners, when your long-term investment feels like a mistake. Days when the market drops and everything looks uncertain. Days when short-term traders are celebrating, posting profits, showing wins, and you are sitting quietly, wondering if you chose the wrong path. This is where most people break. Not because they lack knowledge, but because they lack emotional discipline. They abandon their strategy. They chase the noise. They switch from patience to impulse. And, in doing so, they lose the very advantage they once had. Because consistency is more powerful than intelligence. You don't need to be the smartest person in the market. You just need to be the most consistent. Consistent in your thinking. Consistent in your actions. Consistent in your belief. In the process you chose, there is a quiet truth that experienced investors carry within them. They know that the biggest gains often come after the longest periods of doubt. They know that markets test your patience before they reward it. They know that if you can survive the uncertainty, you deserve the outcome. And this survival is not physical. It is emotional. Can you stay calm when others panic? Can you stay patient when others rush? Can you stay grounded when others chase excitement? Because in the end, wealth is not built by reacting to every opportunity. It is built by recognizing the right ones and giving them time to grow. Time, dear family, is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally. But only if you trust it. Only if you respect it. Only if you allow it to work without interrupting it with fear, doubt, and impatience. And so, as you stand at this crossroad, short-term or long-term, speed or patience, reaction or discipline, ask yourself one final question. Not what will make you money faster, but what will make you stronger, wiser, and free. Because the path you choose today is quietly shaping the life you will live tomorrow. Will not ask you how fast you made your money. It will ask you how wisely you kept it, how peacefully you grew it, and how deeply it aligned with the person you became along the way. Dear family of dreamers, there is a quiet moment that arrives after years of patience, a moment that cannot be rushed, cannot be forced, cannot be bought. A moment where you sit in silence and realize you are no longer chasing money. Money is quietly working for you. No noise, no stress, no constant checking of charts. Just a calm understanding that the seeds you planted have grown into something real, something stable, something yours. This is the reward of long-term thinking, not just wealth, but peace, not just profit, but clarity, not just success, but freedom. You see, the world will always try to pull you toward urgency. It will show you stories of overnight millionaires. It will highlight the rare wins, the lucky trades, the sudden rises. But it will stay silent about the countless losses, the sleepless nights, the emotional exhaustion, the silent regrets. Because slow success is not flashy. It does not trend. It does not shout. It does not demand attention. It simply grows. And those who understand this begin to move differently. They stop comparing. They stop reacting. They stop chasing every opportunity. Instead, they choose carefully, act intentionally, and wait patiently. There is a certain dignity in moving slowly with purpose, a certain strength in saying no to what is easy, so you can say yes to what is meaningful. And over time, this discipline compounds, not just in your portfolio, but in your character. You become calmer, more focused, less distracted by noise. And this is where true wealth begins. Not in your wallet, but in your mind. Because once your mind is steady, your decisions become powerful, and powerful decisions, repeated over time, create extraordinary outcomes. So when you ask, short-term or long-term, which makes you rich faster, the answer is no longer just about money. It becomes about the kind of life you want to live. Do you want a life of constant movement, always watching, always reacting, always uncertain? Or do you want a life of quiet growth, where your investments reflect your values, your patience, your vision? Because in the end, fast money can impress people, but slow money builds a life that no one can take away from you. And when the years pass, when the markets rise and fall, when trends come and go, you will not remember every trade, every chart, every moment of excitement. You will remember the discipline you practiced, the patience you held on to, the vision you refused to abandon, and most importantly, you will remember the moment you realized that becoming wealthy was never just about making money. It was about becoming the kind of person who no longer needed to chase it. Respected viewers, dear family of dreamers, if you have walked this journey with patience, if you have listened not just with your ears, but with your heart, then you already feel the answer within you, because this was never just a question of short-term or long-term. It was a question of identity. Who are you becoming in your pursuit of wealth? Are you becoming restless, reactive, always chasing, always searching for the next opportunity? Or are you becoming calm, disciplined, grounded? Someone who understands that true wealth is not found in speed, but in direction. You see, money is a tool, but the way you earn it, the way you grow it, the way you protect it, that shapes your life far beyond numbers. Short-term gains may give you moments of excitement, but long-term vision gives you a lifetime of stability. And in a world that moves faster every day, choosing patience is one of the most powerful decisions you can make, because patience is not weakness, it is quiet strength. It is the ability to stand still when everything around you is rushing. It is the courage to trust your path, even when it feels slow. It is the wisdom to understand that the greatest rewards in life come not to those who hurry, but to those who endure. So as you move forward, do not ask, how fast can I become rich? Ask, how can I build something that lasts? How can I grow in a way that brings peace, not pressure. How can I align my money with my values, my vision, my purpose? Because when your actions are aligned with patience, when your decisions are guided by discipline, when your mind is free from noise, wealth stops being a destination and becomes a natural outcome, an outcome of consistency, an outcome of clarity, an outcome of becoming someone who no longer needs to rush. And one day, quietly, without warning, you will look back and realize that everything you were searching for was not found in speed, but in stillness, not in chasing, but in understanding, not in reacting, but in believing in time, believing in growth, believing in yourself. And in that moment, you will not just feel rich, you will feel complete, calm, free,